Hey, this is Logan Sekulow. I wanted to first come on here and say I hope you are all having a wonderful Easter break, as maybe your kids are out of school today, or maybe you are finishing up your work day heading into this holiday as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Us here at the ACLJ, we had our friend Jeremiah Johnston on to talk about his book, Body of Proof, which is an amazing resource that tells you many reasons, the proof of Jesus' resurrection. It's a study on the resurrection of Jesus. Great video work in there as well, all through Israel. I would encourage you to get it right now. All you need to do is go to Amazon, pick it up. You're going to hear from Jeremiah, though. But also, in the meantime, before we get there, I do want to tell you we are at the very end of our Life and Liberty Drive. And right now, we are in a triple match. That means all donations are matched times 3, which is amazing. That doesn't happen very often. We are engaged in so many critical issues, and that we know this is a holiday. We are celebrating the resurrection of our Savior, and it couldn't come at a more wild time in this world. So I encourage you to please support the work of the ACLJ here on the final couple days of our Life and Liberty Drive for the month of March. We're here at the end of March. Can you believe it, folks, that we've already made it this far into the year? A quarter of the year is gone. And if you do that, we also encourage you to become an ACLJ champion, which is someone who wants to not only see this broadcast grow and grow, but wants to see the amazing work of the ACLJ grow and grow. You can be a champion, essentially a recurring donor. It automatically charges you monthly, and obviously that's a gift to us. So we really appreciate that. Go to aclj.org. If you can make a single donation, fantastic. And if you can make a decision to become an ACLJ champion, we really would appreciate it, because we are so close to our stretch goal. All right, let's get to it. Here's our friend Jeremiah Johnston and his book, Body of Proof. We are talking about Body of Proof, your book. I've read it. I think a lot of people who are kind of maybe fed up or a little upset with how sort of the modern church has moved on a lot of topics. We talked about this morning is it's not even that the church, because I think you probably have a lot of evangelical churches that outside of Easter, like you said, probably don't want to discuss this, because it's like discussing the end times. Like, a lot of pastors are like, not necessarily, you wouldn't think of it in that way, because the resurrection is such a key part. Obviously, there's translations for a lot of things that you can believe or not believe, but this one's kind of key.
Absolutely.
And for some reason, the modern church, they don't refuse to talk about it, but it's certainly not something coming up every week.
Yeah, they're breathless, winded, anemic, however you want to say it. Progressive Christianity, woke Christianity has so seeped into, and they're Bible scholars who don't even believe in the resurrection of Jesus. The thing that secular media asks me the most is, now, Jeremiah, can you be a Christian if you don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus? Surely you can. And I have to remind them, no, you can't. You cannot be a Christian if you don't believe in the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus. I didn't say that. A guy named St. Paul did in 1 Corinthians 15:17. In a devastating passage, Paul said, if Jesus isn't raised from the dead, we're still in our sins. We have no hope.
And if you're struggling with that, that's why your book is here also. I mean, that's the point. It's because I understand that is a heady topic to deal with. And we deal with these topics a lot on this broadcast. Part of what I do here is talk to these guys to say, all right, let's sit and explain this to people. Let them understand, because it's not like our audience is stupid. And I've always treated them as if they are smart and they understand. We don't have to dumb things down. And your book does that. It's easy to understand. It's easy to read. But it's not like you're not going to get a wealth of information and, in some ways, a wealth of ammunition for when people come to you to say, well, I don't.
Exactly. I'm on the front lines as an apologist. Doesn't mean I'm apologizing for anything, but I'm equipping, like you said, your thinking audience how to have a conversant faith. And I would not be sitting here today without the American Center of Johnston, specifically Jay and Pam Sekulow, who believed in me, believed in our ministry. And now all you guys do every day is talk about worldview. And so the center of a Christian worldview is a solid belief in the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus. So but I'm a visual learner like you, and I wanted to actually, we had 2 drones. You can't fly them all over Israel because they just fall out of the sky at certain places. I wouldn't do that, But we had 2 drones, we had 4 cameras, and again, thanks to the ACLJ, we were able to film at the most, not just the most sacred, the epicenter of Christianity. And some of you have never been to the land of Israel. Perhaps you've been and you didn't go to some of these places. You can do that through my Bible study.
I was about to say, so that video content, people are asking, you're filming that, where does that play into the book?
Absolutely, it's throughout it. Thanks to my wife, Audrey, we have 2-minute truths throughout the book. book where you can actually just look at it in 2 minutes or less. You can show it to your kids. It's fun. It's exciting. It's fast movement. It's not overly produced. I'm sweating because guess what? There is no AC in the first century tomb.
The Middle East.
It is the Middle East. And I'm walking on the road to Emmaus, my favorite spot. A lot of people don't know where the road to Emmaus is. We had to take a Hummer over a mountain. And it sounds extravagant, but we were bouncing back and forth to get there. There's Roman milestones, and it's the very place where Cleopas and the other disciples are walking with Jesus.
When you talked about the fact that there are 37% of Gen Z who consider themselves Christian do not believe the resurrection is important.
47% of evangelical Americans don't believe it.
Because
they don't believe the resurrection?
They don't believe the resurrection.
Or they don't think they can explain it to somebody.
They don't believe it.
So the whole idea of faith,
the information to be able to believe it.
But then what is the purpose of, the faith, there isn't a faith that it's just a belief structure. At that point, this is just a moral code.
And that's the
thing, to live by.
A community.
Faith is always defined by its object. I don't faith. I'm like the dad, Lord, help my Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. No, faith is always defined by its object. And the cool thing about Christianity is you have to believe precious little to become a Christian. The deity, the death, the resurrection of Jesus. And then after we become a Christian, after we start following Jesus, the rest of our life is figuring it out from there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. You can pick that up again. It's on Amazon. Body of Proof
gives you all of the evidence that you need to be totally current on not just the scholarship, but all the extra biblical evidence, all the archaeological discoveries that help undergird our Christian faith. And I take you by the hand. There's no prerequisites needed. I mean, I wrote this for families to do with their kids. I wrote this to be done in college Bible studies, in dorm rooms, and in class. I had somebody approach me last Sunday at Prestonwood. They said, I've watched it 7 times. I haven't even watched it 7 times. I'm the author, so I don't know how that works. But they loved it, and it's cool because thanks again to the ACLJ, we secured the permissions right before the October 7th attack to be able to film at all these different resurrection locations. So he's risen. The promise we're given more than any other is Jesus said, because I live, you'll live also.
All right. Thanks to our friend Jeremiah Johnston. Again, get his book, Body of Proof, on Amazon or wherever books are sold. You can probably download it right now, watch some of that great video content, great things to share with your kids, show them the real proof, the evidence, the visuals of what it's like in Israel, what it is like to see these places where Jesus walked, where Jesus was born, and of course, what this book is about, where Jesus was resurrected. So take a look at that. We appreciate it. Also, as I said earlier, if you watch the beginning of this broadcast, we are at the very end here of our Life and Liberty Drive. You can become an ACLJ supporter. And what that does, it supports, obviously, things like this broadcast, but so much more, all the incredible legal work that we can do absolutely at no cost with your support. So if you need legal help, by the way, you go to aclj.org/help, fill it out, go straight to a lawyer, not to a call center, nothing. Go straight to a lawyer, and if it's within our scope, we will take the case for you at no cost. If not, sometimes things can be handled with a legal letter. Either way, it gets directly to someone who is a legal expert, so I encourage you to do that. But obviously, we are at the end of this Life and Liberty Drive, and we can't do this work without your support. We can't offer this content for free each and every day. Not putting it behind a paywall like a lot of people. We are telling you the truth. It has never been a more important time. So I wish you all a very happy Easter. Know that our prayers are with you, our ACLJ supporters. And please, I would encourage that we be in your prayers as well. So that would be an amazing thing for us. If you can't give, it is okay. When you are thinking about what's happening in the world right now, whenever you hear the word Israel, I would encourage you, say a prayer for the ACLJ. Whenever you hear anything that you think we work on, say a prayer for us and what we're doing here, because it cannot be at a more critical time. Also, the ACLJ prayer guide is available. Go to aclj.org/pray. Again, absolutely no cost. Amazing piece that you can get, the ACLJ prayer guide. A lot of amazing pieces, a lot of amazing work. Our team does just the best job, and I'm so happy with the work that they do because it really shows what we can do here if we all stand together. Become an ACLJ champion or an individual donor, or just download that prayer guide, absolutely no cost. We will talk to you on Monday.